Hello everyone, and welcome back to Easy English Talk, where learning English is easy, calm, and friendly. My name is Rahul, and I'm really happy you're spending a few minutes of your day with us. You know, this time of year always feels a little different to me. When I wake up in the morning, I feel like the air itself is quieter. The year is almost over. And suddenly, my mind wants to slow down and think.
Hello, Rahul, and hello to everyone listening. I'm Emma, and yes, I understand that feeling very well. Just a few days ago, I realized how close we are to the end of the year, and it honestly surprised me. It feels like the year just started, but at the same time, it feels like we've lived many small lives inside this one year. That mix of feelings is very interesting.
Exactly. Some days this year were busy and tiring, and some days were calm and simple. But when we look back now, the whole year feels like it passed very fast. That's why this moment feels important to me. It's like a small pause between what has already happened and what is coming next.
And during this pause, many emotions appear. Some people feel proud of themselves, some people feel tired, some people feel a little worried about the future. I think all of these feelings are normal, and today we want to talk about the new year in a gentle way, not a stressful one.
Yes, today's episode is about the new year, but not the kind of new year talk that makes you feel pressure. Not the kind that says, you must change everything starting tomorrow. Because honestly, that kind of thinking can be very heavy.
Instead, we want this conversation to feel like two friends sitting together and talking quietly. No rushing, no big promises, just simple thoughts shared slowly.
Before we continue, we want to ask our listeners for a small favor. If you enjoy calm conversations like this, please like this video.
And if you're new here, please subscribe to Easy English Talk. We make these episodes to help you feel comfortable and confident with English.
You can also share this episode with someone you care about. Maybe you can listen together and talk about the new year together later.
All right, now that we've set the mood, let's gently move forward and begin.
Before we talk about the new year, I think it's important to pause for a moment and look back at the year that is ending. Many people want to forget the past quickly and jump into the future, but I feel that looking back helps us understand ourselves better.
I agree. Looking back doesn't mean thinking only about mistakes or problems. It also means remembering the good moments, the small, happy things that we often forget. Sometimes when I look back, I'm surprised by how much I actually did, even on difficult days.
Yes, exactly. When we are inside the year, everything feels normal. But when the year ends and we look back, we can see patterns. We can see what made us happy, what made us tired, and what we maybe want to change.
And this reflection can be very simple. You don't need a long list. You can just ask yourself a few gentle questions, like, what moments made me smile this year? What moments taught me something?
That's a good way to think about it. For me, when I look back, I remember moments that felt very ordinary at the time, but now feel important. Small conversations, quiet evenings, not always big events.
I love that you said that. We often think highlights must be something big, like a trip or a success. But sometimes the real highlights are simple moments where we felt calm or connected.
Yes, and writing these moments down can help. Not to be perfect, but just to make them visible. When you see them on paper, you realize the year was not empty.
And this reflection also helps us be kind to ourselves. If the year was difficult, we can say, okay, it was hard, but I'm still here. That thought alone can be very comforting.
Exactly. So before thinking about goals, plans, or resolutions, we simply take a moment to look back and say, this was my year.
And after that, we can gently move forward.
After we look back at the year, something interesting often happens. Instead of feeling calm, many people start to feel a little heavy when they think about the new year. It sounds strange, but it's very common. Suddenly, there is pressure to change, to improve, to become better in many ways at the same time.
Yes, I see that a lot too. The new year is supposed to feel fresh and hopeful, but for many people, it feels overwhelming. There are expectations everywhere, from social media, from friends, from family, and sometimes from our own minds. That can make the new year feel less exciting and more stressful.
Exactly. We start comparing ourselves with others. We see people talking about big achievements, big plans, big success, and then we quietly think, am I doing enough? That question can make the new year feel heavy even before it begins.
And the problem is not the new year itself. The problem is how much we load onto it. We try to fix everything at once. Health, work, money, relationships, learning. That's a lot for just 1 year.
Yes. It's like standing in front of a very full shelf and thinking, I need to carry all of this at the same time. Of course it feels heavy.
That's why it's important to slow down and be honest with ourselves. The new year is not a test. It's not an exam we must pass. It's just another chapter of life.
I really like that way of saying it. When we see the new year as a continuation, not a restart from zero, it feels lighter. We don't need to erase who we are. We can simply continue with a little more care.
Yes, and when we understand this, we can choose a gentler way to move forward, not with pressure, but with intention.
And that leads us naturally to the next question. If we don't want too much pressure, how do we move forward in a simple way?
That's exactly what we'll talk about next.
So, after talking about pressure and heavy expectations, I think this is the moment where things can finally feel lighter. Instead of asking, what should I change about my whole life, we can ask a much smaller and kinder question. What is one thing that really matters to me right now?
Yes, that question changes everything. When we choose just one simple goal, our mind relaxes a little. We stop running in many directions at the same time, and instead we can give our attention to one area of life that truly needs care.
I like that you use the word care, because a goal doesn't have to be about fixing something broken. Sometimes it's about taking care of something important, like health, peace, or learning. When I think about the next year, I don't want many goals. I just want one that feels honest.
That honesty is very important. Many people choose goals because they sound good to others, but when the goal doesn't come from inside, it becomes difficult to continue. That's usually when motivation disappears in February.
Yes, exactly. But when the goal is personal, even small progress feels meaningful. For example, if someone chooses health, they don't need to become perfect. They just need to do one small thing that supports their body.
And that's the key point. A big goal is not something we jump into. It's something we walk towards slowly. When we accept that, the new year feels much more friendly.
I also think choosing one goal helps us say no to unnecessary pressure. When too many ideas come into our head, we can gently remind ourselves, this year I'm focusing on this one thing. That reminder can be very powerful.
Yes, and it doesn't mean other parts of life are ignored. They still exist, but they don't control our energy. Our main goal becomes a quiet guide, not a loud command.
And once we choose that one simple goal, the next question becomes very natural. How do we move toward it without stress?
That's where small steps come in.
When you mentioned small steps, Emma, I felt a sense of relief, because many people hear the word goal and immediately imagine something difficult or exhausting. But small steps feel different. They feel possible. They don't ask us to change our whole life in one day.
Yes, that's exactly why small steps matter so much. A gentle habit doesn't shout at you, it quietly fits into your day. And when something feels easy, we are more likely to continue it, even on busy or tired days.
I think that's an important point. Life doesn't suddenly become calm in the new year. There are still busy mornings, long days, and unexpected problems. So if a habit only works on perfect days, it won't last very long.
That's so true. Small habits work because they respect real life. For example, instead of saying, I will exercise for 1 hour every day, you can say, I will move my body for 10 minutes. 10 minutes feels friendly, not scary.
Yes, and once you start, sometimes 10 minutes becomes 20. But even if it stays 10, it still counts. That mindset removes guilt and replaces it with encouragement.
Exactly. The goal is not to impress anyone. The goal is to show up for yourself in a kind way. When habits are gentle, they become part of who you are, not something you fight against.
I also like the idea of linking habits to daily life. For example, if someone wants to improve their English, they don't need a long study plan. They can listen to English while making tea or walking outside.
Yes, small habits hide inside normal moments. That's why they work so well. They don't demand extra energy, they use what is already there.
And when we follow small steps like this, something interesting happens. We begin to trust ourselves more. We start to believe, I can continue.
That trust is very important for the new year because confidence doesn't come from big promises. It comes from small actions repeated gently.
And once that trust grows, planning the year feels less stressful.
Yes, it starts to feel supportive instead.
You know, after talking about small habits and trust, I feel like this is the right moment to talk about planning. But not the kind of planning that fills every hour of every day. I mean planning that supports life, not controls it.
Yes, I'm glad you said that. Many people feel nervous when they hear the word calendar. They imagine busy schedules and no free time. But a calendar can actually do the opposite. It can give your mind some rest.
That's interesting. I used to think a calendar was only for work or serious events. But recently, I started using it to remember important people and moments. And that simple change made my days feel lighter.
Exactly. A calm calendar doesn't need many things written on it, just the important ones. Birthdays, holidays, small plans you're looking forward to. When you see those things, the year feels friendly.
I like that idea a lot. When everything stays in our head, it feels heavy. But when we write things down, the mind can relax a little.
Yes, a calendar is not a list of duties. It's more like a gentle reminder of life. It says, this matters, don't forget it.
I also like planning rest, not only work. When I write down a weekend with no plans, it feels like a promise to myself.
That's such a healthy way to think about it. Rest should not be something we earn after exhaustion. It should be something we protect.
And when the calendar feels calm, the whole year feels less scary.
Yes, it becomes a guide, not a boss.
When you mentioned choosing a one word for the year, Emma, I felt something relax inside me, because a single word feels much lighter than a long list of goals. It doesn't ask us to plan everything, it simply gives the year a feeling, a direction. Almost like a quiet reminder we can carry with us.
Yes, that's exactly why I love this idea so much. A word of the year is not a rule, it's not a promise you can break, it's more like a gentle guide that stays in the background of your life. And whenever you feel confused or tired, that word can bring you back to what matters.
I also like that the word doesn't need to be impressive. It doesn't need to sound powerful or perfect. It just needs to be honest. For some people, the word might be rest. For others, it might be focus or learn. Each word tells a small story about where a person is in life.
Yes, and the beautiful thing is that the word can help with decisions. When you're not sure what to do, you can quietly ask yourself, does this match my word? If your word is calm, maybe you say no to something stressful. If your word is grow, maybe you say yes to learning something new.
That makes the year feel less confusing. Instead of thinking too much, you have a simple compass, and I think that's very comforting, especially in a world where everything moves so fast.
I agree. The word also reminds us that we don't need to change who we are. We're not starting from zero. We're just choosing how we want to move forward, step by step.
For me, when I think about my word, I don't feel pressure. I feel clarity. It's like saying to myself, this year, I'll keep coming back to this idea.
And that's enough. One word, one feeling, one gentle direction for the whole year.
And when we combine that word with reflection, one goal, small habits, and a calm calendar,
the new year suddenly feels much friendlier.
So, Emma, as we come to the end of this conversation, I feel something very different compared to how I usually feel at the end of the year. I don't feel rushed. I don't feel stressed. I feel calm, and that feels really nice.
I feel the same way. Talking about the new year like this reminds us that we don't need to hurry into it. We don't need perfect plans or big promises. Sometimes the best way to enter a new year is slowly and honestly.
Yes, we talked about looking back, choosing one goal, taking small steps, using a calendar gently, and finding one word for the year. None of these things are difficult, but together they can make a big difference in how the year feels.
And most importantly, they remind us to be kind to ourselves. Life doesn't need to be fixed all at once. We're allowed to grow at our own pace.
If you're listening right now and feeling unsure about the new year, that's okay. You don't need to have everything ready today. You can take your time.
Yes, the new year is not a race. It's a journey that begins quietly, one day at a time.
Before we say goodbye, we'd love to hear from you.
In the comments, tell us your word of the year. It can be simple. It can be personal.
And if you enjoyed this calm conversation, please like the video.
Subscribe to Easy English Talk if you haven't already.
And share this episode with someone who might need a gentle start to the new year.
Thank you for spending this time with us.
We really appreciate you.
We wish you a peaceful, kind, and hopeful new year.
See you next time.
Goodbye for now.